The ANC will this weekend deliberate on the economic challenges facing the country in its NEC Lekgotla. Over the past year, when the nation grappled with severe blackouts, the Minister of Electricity and ANC NEC member Dr. Ramaphosa was tasked with resolving the electricity crisis. The country has now enjoyed over 300 days without load shedding, a recovery the ANC prides itself with.
A phenomenal achievement. I think when the South African delegation was here last year, I think it was a very bleak and dark tale to tell about the situation in the country. But we were able to come back a year later just to illustrate and share with the rest of the world that social compacting is key. The ability of the state to lead engagement with non-state actors like business and also labor in co-authoring a response to a crisis can yield results. And to your point, yes, I mean, you can see the phenomenal achievement that ESCOM and the team has achieved. It's a story to be shared with the rest of the world. Of course, back home, we still must resolve the load reduction issue because a lot of citizens and some of the viewers who manage to get their lights on who are subjected to load reduction, load shedding, load reduction by any name, it still means that there's periods in the day where they don't have electricity, and that's why we'll be accelerating our efforts to resolve the load reduction. And this is an intervention I'll be aggressively rolling out when we get back home now. The next 3 months focus just on the load reduction story, working with stakeholders such as municipalities.
On the economic aspect, the NEC will look at the Minister of Finance, Enoch Godongwana, to provide an update on the performance of the South African economy. The ANC NEC has instructed government, and in particular the Finance Minister, to perform structural reforms. These reforms span to state-owned enterprises such as Transnet, PRASA, Denel, and SAA, which is performing well.
I don't know what the perception you are referring to, but let me say the key thing with South Africa, which is still confronting us, has been a low growth. That low growth is still there. What we have been doing over the years are what we call structural reforms, which we are beginning to see, whether it's in e-visas, whether it's in telecommunication, whether it's in electricity, whether it's the reforming the rail sector and the port sector, the logistics. All of those are structural reforms which are beginning to bear fruit, which will impact on our growth outlook.
Ministers of Finance, Electricity and Energy, plus Trade and Industry have been held by captains of industry and business. Glencoe CEO Gary Nagel commended the ministers for the structural reforms they're implementing.
Congratulate you. I met 3 of your ministers.
Yes.
I've never been so positive about South Africa, even from when I lived there.
Wow.
I tell you, amazing. And I also spent some time with the CEO of Access Insurance.
Yes.
Not South African like me.
Yes.
He says the positiveness that is coming, seeing from South Africa, amazing.
No,
I tell you, I see a step change. Whatever you're doing,
it is.
Whatever you're doing is incredible. It's incredible.
Well, we try our best, Gary.
I saw Enoch, I saw Parks, I saw Cyril Ramaphosa, and they get it, eh?
Yes.
They get it.
No.
They are on top of their stuff. Close, everything for South Africa.
We're moving forward.
On a policy framework, the ANC has seen the signing of transformative pieces of legislation into law, such as the Bela Act, NHI, and now the Expropriation Act by President Cyril Ramaphosa. The land question will also feature prominently in how the Expropriation Act will be implemented in order to address the historical imbalances of the past on land dispossession. ANC NEC member Mzwandile Masina says the new act permits in certain instances for the expropriation of land without compensation in the public interest, which was previously not there.
The issue of public purpose has now been expanded to public interest. And then I explained that public interest include issues like land reform, including issues of transformation, amongst others. And is not touching those issues because those issues are practical. So we always knew that this as an act of, like any other acts that exist, has to be repealed by a democratic government. So where we are, I think that this act will actually assist us in a way. For instance, there is a provision there in the new act that has been signed by President Ramaphosa about compensation. It says that in an instances where, for instance, a property or a land has been abandoned or for speculative reasons, the government can expropriate without compensation.
The living conditions of South Africans will also take center stage. Issues pertaining to water provision will be high on the agenda. Water and Sanitation Minister Phemema Chodina, alongside Deputy Minister of COGTA Dixon Masamula, will have to provide updates and the intervention measures on water provision and the dilapidating municipal water infrastructure. Samkele Masego, SABC News, Johannesburg.